Alongside these conference-style opportunities to learn and network, there's also a whole lot of fun. From the midway-style games and challenges of the creative experience and the displays of students' creativity and community to interactive esports competitions, cosplay contests, and a giant block party, Hall of Fame Week is a tribute to our accomplished alumni and a celebration of the Full Sail community's creative spirit.
Well, yeah, there's a look at our sponsors, and I will tell you that I am very excited for Hall of Fame 12 coming up in March of 2022, March 6th through the 11th. My name is Jay Noble. I'm one of the vice presidents here at Full Sail University, and I've had the good pleasure of working alongside our alumni as well as our alumni relations team with Director Sherry Tantliff now for many, many years. And it's been a true honor of mine to be involved with Hall of Fame since its inception. We had a wonderful kickoff to Hall of Fame in 2009 and have been hitting it on the run every single year with the exception of last year. 2021, March, it didn't happen, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, but we're excited to bring it back better than ever for Hall of Fame 12. Coming up in March of 2022. And to get us on the right track, I wanted to set the stage a little bit for you. We're going to be honoring 6, as we do every year, amazing alumni who have just gone above and beyond when it comes to building a remarkable career and investing in their journey from the day they graduated to where they are now, which is a decade or more out into their careers. Then they've also spent a lot of time giving back in a human way to Full Sail University. You know, our university is built on the strength of our graduates, and these 6 represent some of the strongest coming out of our program because of how much they've given back to our student body and how much they care about our staff and faculty and being involved with nearly every aspect of our university. And I'd like to take just a moment to introduce you to the 6 that we have represented here today. I'm going to begin with Stephanie Dawson. Stephanie is a producer at WNET and a graduate of film. Stephanie, welcome. Congratulations on your honor of being a Hall of Fame inductee for Hall of Fame 12.
Thank you. This is such an honor for me, and I'm so happy to gain the skills that I got from Full Sail and to be able to give back and contribute to those future graduates. So thank you so much. I appreciate being here.
It's great to have you with us. Stephanie, in your role as a producer at WNET, can you tell us a little bit about your work world and what you do?
Sure. WNET is new for me. I work for a show called Great Performances, which you may have seen on PBS, and we focus on sharing with the world, bringing operas, ballets, theater performances. So we record live shows. And another show that I was involved with that many may have seen on Hulu is called Derek Delgadio's In and of Itself, which was a stage show, a magic show. So it's very much like that, or like Hamilton. Come From Away is also a stage show that's been captured for the screen. So that's the type of work we do there. But over the last, I think, 15 or so years, I've worked in reality shows, branded content commercials, feature films, television shows. So I've kind of run the gamut. And it's just, you know, similar to what we did in our final project at Full Sail. Like, we have the script, we break it down, we figure out what elements we need in order to make the show. And then we do whatever we can do to make the show on time and on budget. So yeah, every day is different, but hopefully we're bringing some good content to everyone as we do it.
That's what makes it exciting. You wake up every day and you know you're headed into something completely unique. Some of the pieces and parts might be familiar, but it's great to make something totally unique in every given day. It's so good to have you with us, Stephanie. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Next up is going to be our good friend Bobby Jones. Bobby's the founder, Chief Executive Officer of Purple Rock Scissors, a graduate of our digital media program here at Full Sail. Bobby, good to have you. You're right here in Orlando with us.
That's right. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. And, echoing sort of the same sentiment as Stephanie, super honored to be part of this. I've actually dreamt of being part of this. And so I'm just still kind of soaking it in, and it's incredible. So again, super pumped. Cannot wait to hang out with everybody in March and just, learn more about what everybody's excited about and see where we can connect.
And Bobby, I know that from our past conversations, I know that you're incredibly engaged with your staff. You are a remarkable leader at Purple Rock Scissors, and would love to know a little bit more for those who maybe aren't familiar. Can you give us some color about the Purple Rock environment there?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who don't know, I'd love for you to check us out. Website's just purplerockscissors.com. You can go there, check out some of our work, but we're a strategic creative agency with technology at our core. And I founded the company back in like 2005 and kind of built it from the ground up. It was just me, and over the last decade and a half, I have built it to a team of a little over 80 people. And we work with brands like Facebook, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, all the Facebook families, now Meta family, but really excited about that. And really we do everything from build web applications to really custom, really cool experiential projects for things like Rick and Morty. And one of the most recent things we launched was for DC, and it was a character builder where you could kind of build your own minifigure character and put it into an application. So it's really fun stuff. And I love it. And when it comes to the team, that's sort of one of my sayings at the company is people over projects, and that whatever we're doing, our people are the most important component, because their safety and creating this kind of vulnerability moment for them to be able to be who they are is where their greatest work shines from. So I just love that component more than anything, is just the time I get to spend with people that are super passionate and excited to build really cool stuff. So yeah, that's a little bit about Purple.
That's incredible. It shows in the work that you and your team do, how much you invest in the individuals that work with you and around you throughout your projects. So congratulations on the success of your company, my friend. Just amazing.
Thank you.
Nadi K, my friend, you are a senior producer at Zynga. You're a graduate of our game design program. And I have to say, you've been on an incredible rocket ride since you graduated. Welcome to the Hall of Fame as an inductee. And what can you tell us a little bit about your world?
Hi, Jay. So again, as everyone else, I am super honored to be here. And I love working at Zynga. It's been a blast. So one very exciting thing that I do get to mention is that I am working on the next Star Wars game, which is called Star Wars Hunters. And unfortunately, that's all I can say. So that's all I can say about that. But there has been a trailer where we did release some of our characters, which are 2 Jawas in a suit. So yes, that is real. And yes, that is one of the characters that you can play. So please do get excited about that. But yeah, so that's been my life here in the last couple of months.
I have no doubt there will be a beyond belief number of comments, emails, text, phone calls, any way people can reach out to you. I have a feeling you're going to be pounded for information, and we respect the non-disclosures.
Yes, everyone is asking about which character is going to be available, but it's a secret.
Well, thank you for being with us today in your amazing and busy schedule as well. Speaking of busy schedules, every one of you are beyond busy in your lives. So I'll make that a blanket statement. Thank you for your time. And then let's cross the ocean to Greece. Our next guest is coming to us from Greece. We might actually have a little bit of a delay. We really want to have him with us. So we're going to manage any delay issues we have, Phil, but to let everyone know, you're a brand strategist and keynote speaker on personal branding. You are a graduate of our entertainment business program, a very proud graduate of that program, I might add. You've been back so many times I've lost count, but congratulations. This is long overdue. I think you are one that everyone has been championing to get into Hall of Fame, like like the 6 we have total with us today. There's been so many champions for you. And welcome, my friend. It's great to have you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm praying to gods I should be able to find some in Greece that this internet connection will be stable enough to have a great little chat. I am also so honored to be among these cute little faces. And by the way, we're seeing each other for the first time. So this is equally exciting for us to get to say hello and to get to meet for the first time. So thank you.
Yeah, that's an important point, Phil. I had yet to mention that, and it's important everybody knows that while they all know of each other, this is our first formal meeting as a group. We look forward to doing this in person in March, along with our entire staff and student body. Phil, you're in Greece, but you travel a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about your work world?
Sure. So I'm a brand strategist. My focus is personal branding. Since I graduated Full Sail, I've specialized in people. My clients are people. My longest client is a shark on Shark Tank. Professionals, White House staffers, corporations, people in over 30 countries. It's really all I've done is really focus on branding, positioning, building, and promoting people. And obviously with the rise of social media, that's been a big focus. The perk I'd say of my job is that I do it, as a lot of people know, remotely. So I think I visited maybe 6 or 7 or 8 countries in the last 2 or 3 months. When we chatted and you shared the great news, as a surprise, I was in Turkey. Last week, I was in Portugal. In a few weeks, I'll be in Dubai and then Mexico. Last week, I did a keynote talk for Adobe Max from Spain. Like it's, that's my world. I'm very used to it. But I guess when I hear it out loud, it is pretty exciting.
It's very exciting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pitch that the group of 6 and myself join you in Dubai for a little post Hall of Fame celebration.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I always say, you say when, and I say where, sweetheart. That's how this works.
I love it, Phil. Thank you. Really appreciate you being with us from Greece. What time is it in Greece right now?
It is 10 p.m., 10:12 p.m.
Well, you
like
are you're to be admired for your commitment to us in what you say is early hours yet. So I'm going to jump our alphabetical order because I'm going to go to the next person we actually have with us. We're missing one today, and I'll explain that in just a second. I'm going to jump to our good friend, Tom Todia, who I've known for years as a former faculty member here at Full Sail University. He is currently the audio director at Electronic Arts and co-founder at Engine Audio, graduate twice of our recording programs here at Full Sail University. Please welcome Mr. Tom Todia.
Thank you so much, Jay, and everyone that came before me as well. And let me just echo what everyone else said about what an honor it is to be involved. It's also very humbling because I've worked with so many of our graduates over the last 2 decades. I know it's not an easy thing to pick between amazing graduates. So just being in this group is an honor, and I'm so happy to be back with my Full Sail family.
And Tom, can you describe a little bit about your time both split between Electronic Arts and Engine Audio, and what does that involve?
Sure, yeah. So Engine Audio is an outsourcing company that my partner Chris and I started years ago. At the moment, I am just a silent partner because of non-compete. So Engine Audio is kind of running on its own right now, and I am the audio director at Electronic Arts, which basically means I'm in charge of one of our titles. So we have an audio director in charge of each title. And right now I am in charge of our college football title, which has been announced, but that's basically the end of what I can say about the title. So.
No worries. We won't hold you to any NDA issues there. It's certainly great to have you with us. I know that splitting yourself in between and hurdling 2 different worlds sometimes is hard. And I'll say this about each of you: in the amazing amount of time you invest in your careers on a daily basis, I'm equally impressed by the times where you step up to the plate if Full Sail's in need of a guest or help, maybe mentorship along the way with a student. Each of you have really poured your heart into our students and our staff. So thank you for that. You are to be commended. Along with this honor, you're to be commended for the heart that each one of you possess. And I'm not forgetting one of the six here. Apologize that we can't have him with us in person, but he was very kind to provide us with a video. His name is Justin Rathbun, and he's an A1, a production sound engineer, and has been with Hamilton on Broadway for a number of years now. He's a graduate of our show production program, and he was kind enough to record this little commentary for us before we get started. So let's take a look at what Justin sent in.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Justin Rathbun. I'm the front of house sound engineer at Hamilton on Broadway. And I'm sorry I couldn't be with you this afternoon. We're probably just getting ready to start Act 2, even though I'm filming this a little bit earlier. But I just wanted to call in and say that it's such an honor to be a part of this group, and can't wait to spend some time with you guys in early March. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and again, such an honor. Thank you so much.
Justin is such an amazing heart, like each of you, and he's one of those cats that really, truly, he emailed me and told me how much he missed not being part of this today. So we have him with us in spirit, and we'll make sure we get to party with him during Hall of Fame week, that's for sure. Okay, we're about 15 minutes in, and I'm going to jump straight into Q&A because we are on a compressed time frame, and we want to learn as much about each of you as possible with the minutes that we have. So I'm going to do an all play question, and I'll call on each of you individually to answer. After one finishes, I'll call on the next. And that first question we're going to go to is looking back at graduation. Let's go all the way back. You're a student, you're facing graduation, and you have realized that dream of graduating from your degree program. Can you give us some highlights of your path to where you are today? Some of the things that really stand out as part of your career. And I'll go back to Stephanie. Maybe we could start with you and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So I graduated from Full Sail after having worked in IT. I worked in computer consulting for a number of years. So it really was going back and realizing a dream. Like I left the corporate world and decided to go for what I'd always dreamed about doing, and that's working in film production. Shortly after graduation, I moved to New York City, where I thought I would be working with independent film, like right out of the gate. But this was 2007, just before the economic downturn rather. There was the writer's strike. There's a lot of challenges there. So the kind of blessing that came about is that I ended up working a lot in reality TV. There was so much reality TV. So I got immediate production experience, like right out of the gate. And I think one of the biggest things that I learned is, resilience, is flexibility. It's like going from gig to gig. Just really learning all those skills. I mean, every shoot kind of requires the same things. You need a camera, you need talent, you need audio, you need everybody, all the elements to be there in the right place. So I learned very quickly how to pivot. So I took those skills and just was able to with every turn, I was able to kind of work my way towards scripted production. Some of the highlights, I worked as a producer's assistant for and I learned development, which is something that we all need to have those skills. I worked for House Hunters International, which is one of those perennial shows that people love. And of all the things I've worked with, when I say I worked for House Hunters International, everybody's like, oh my God, my mom loves that show. So that was always kind of cool. And, I think when I look back, the fact that 15 years on, I'm still working in this industry and I'm able to pay my rent and put, food on the table, like that is the dream. Like, I still have dreams of the awards and all those kinds of things, but honestly, I'm still doing what I love. I'm able to, do it every day. And now I'm working for a network like, WNET contributing to PBS, which can reach so many different people, right at home. We reach kids, we reach adults. So it's just really kind of all of it's been highlight and kind of a blessing in disguise. So
it's a wonderful overview, and congratulations on building such a remarkable path and being open to twists and turns along the way. I hear that a lot, and I think that's what builds not only character but incredible life experience in jobs as you move through your journey. I'm going to go out of order here, gang, so just bear with me. Tom, I think I'm going to go to you next. You are a graduate twice of Full Sail, and so you can choose at what point you want to give us the description. But I would think it might be at, post your second degree. How has that journey blossomed for you post that second degree program?
Sure, that's a great question. I was thinking so much about the first degree. So just one quick statement, which was when I got out of school in 1997, the first time, somebody had given me some pointers, an engineer that I met, and I said, how am I going to be successful? And he said, remind yourself that there's no plan B, and use that positively. And he was right. And more to come on that some other time. There is no plan B, and get good, right? Those are the two most important things. I worked in recording studios and did radio and TV. My internship when I first started in the industry was where Sebastian Chris, another Hall of Fame member, was the chief engineer in Miami at a studio. When I got my second degree, I was teaching at Full Sail. And I also started a side company called Engine Audio with my partner Chris to do outsourcing work for video games, virtual reality projects, and 360 video projects. And did a lot of outsourcing work for EA as a contractor and external freelancer for a while before they asked me to come in and join full time. And there's so much that goes on in our world. It's hard to put a quick wrap around it, but I absolutely love what I do. I'm sure all of us here do, but that is one of the keys to success for me, is that I'm fascinated by what I do. It never gets old. There's always something new to learn. And it feels like I'm still in school all the time, except now people are paying me to be in school. That's a pretty bow, but it's true. And I've been helped on my journey by so many people, I can't possibly count them. Many of them having been former students and alumni of Full Sail. So I think that's probably a main reason why most of us stay involved and want to help out, because there really is a lot that I owe. It's not really given away freely. I'm catching up with what people have done for me, really, just by being part of this group. So I'm really happy for the opportunity to do that and talk to more graduates, because I loved being a teacher too. I absolutely loved teaching. And I love what I do now, but I kind of miss teaching. But just being able to network and associate with graduates and help them and also learn from them is a really positive part of what I do. And I do a lot of recording now. I do a lot of recording. I do a lot of editing. I do a lot of sound design, a lot of mixing. I get to go to a lot of sports games for free and get behind the scenes, which is fun, and spend a lot of time on Zoom calls over the last year and a half. That's what I do.
We've all become Zoom experts. That's exactly right. Okay, I'm going to move over to Nadi. Maybe you can give us a little bit about that journey for you.
Sure. So actually, very similarly to both Tom and Stephanie, I also used to be a teacher. I taught high school, but again, being in the industry, being in the video games industry, it was an absolute dream, and I had to figure out a way to get in. So super, super thankful that I was able to find Full Sail and to be able to get into the game program. When I started, it definitely has evolved and ebbed and flowed with the industry, which I also appreciate. So not quite the same program as it was when I started, but I was able to get an internship, and from there it just kind of launched my career. So being able to be resilient and like Stephanie, being able to roll with the punches, because it is crazy. So crazy. And also the ability to be a risk taker. You just never know where that next opportunity is going to come. And just to kind of elaborate on that, just a smidge, 8 cities in 8 years, which I'm sure that's nothing compared to Phil, but at the same time, it's whoa, where am I going next? So, just kind of that thirst for life, and, being just a very hard worker, and socializing has been everything. And I got to dip my toes in, I want to say, almost every type of game development genre. I've done startups, I've done educational games, I've done casino games, casual, hardcore. So I've run the gamut of it all. And definitely at each place, I have definitely learned something very valuable that has just helped me be more successful in my next step. So it's been a whirlwind, but super exciting, and wouldn't change any of it.
That's the one most amazing thing, because we're looking at individuals that have spent more than a decade in their careers, at the least a decade in their careers. And to hear each of you effectively emulate the I wouldn't change anything, I know you've all come up against hurdles. So I'm just beside myself on the passion each of you have to move through those hurdles. Phil, my friend, tell me, since graduation, what is it? How did this come to be?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. If I actually tally it up, which we did, I've worked with over 300 clients in 10 years. We also tallied up the countries of clients and speaking engagements, and it's 32, or I think maybe we're at 33 countries. And of course, clearly, I like to also make an appearance in those countries when I can. There's been some, you know what, Jay? Full Sail has been it's been a long story for me. I'll tell the full story, I think, when we're all together. But I met Katrina Green in admissions when I was 13 or 14, and Full Sail was the school that I wanted to go to before I was even in high school. It ended up being the way that I got to the US. So I've had some really interesting bookend moments. That's what comes to mind when you ask this question. I went from watching Shark Tank in my EBMS degree, dissecting, negotiation tactics in that module, to less than a year later working with one of the stars of the show that I continue to do to this day, wanting a job right after graduating Full Sail with the added pressure of being an international student, to now being in the position where I hire Full Sail students for lots of different projects remotely, and also sponsoring a few students that are international, keeping them in America. Trying to stay in America was in itself a challenge. Now you can't even keep me there, so there's these cool little opposite type moments, I would say, in that decade. And I guess the last thought is you can't get too comfortable, particularly in the industry that I'm in, social media, online marketing. It changes weekly, sometimes daily. So it's exciting. And I love sharing this with students. What are the ways, that businesses are being formed without geographical boundaries today? So I'm working with clients on branding projects. I'm doing speaking engagements. More recently this year, it's been brand new for me, is doing sponsored content and brand partnerships, affiliate marketing, all different kinds of things that I'm always learning. You really can't have an ego. You can't know everything because it's changing on a daily basis.
Great observation. I mean, as we're seeing even in major headlines with metaverse and the wonderful world that is shifting beneath our feet as we speak. So and you've got a lot in front of you, Phil, with as much as that's going to change the world of social media. I'm sure that you will be continually challenged and grow immensely along with it. Thank you, my brother. Bobby Jones, eager to hear your pathway since graduation, because you set your sights on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Man, I kind of want to say the same as Phil with the concept of there's so much to unpack here. We'll save it for when we're all together. And I'm excited to, dig into that more. But, honestly, man, thinking back, I graduated a very long time ago. And my journey has been, my journey's been crazy. I did know that, I'll answer this one a little differently. I'm going to say this. The day I stepped onto campus at Full Sail, I knew I was where I was supposed to be, 100%. I fundamentally believe that, I chose not to go to college right out of school. Because I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. I came out of school at a really interesting time when computers were still becoming a thing, believe it or not. They existed. They were very utility. They definitely weren't meant for, social and casual hangs like they are now. They were very utility, about sending files and whatever. And I just remember being a little lost for a couple of years, going, I would have to go into computer science. I'd go look at colleges and I'm like, that's not me. I knew I had this creative element. And I remember stepping on the campus and doing the tour, hanging out, and just having this like very palpable, visceral feeling of like, you could tell the passion and just the drive of each student on campus. And that it was just this realization, like, this is it. Now I know who I am a little bit. It's like if you've ever done like a Enneagram or a personality test, and when you read back the description, you can't really describe yourself, but if you read back the descriptions, you're like, that's me. That's totally me. I can justify all the weird stuff I do. And I think like leaving when I was at Full Sail, 100% in love with it. Longer story later, but I was far away from campus. So I stayed on campus 12 and 16 hours a day because that just made sense. And for me, and I just soaked it all in. And I remember leaving and getting, starting to try to get into the workforce. I would get a job and that passion wasn't there. Like I would get a job. I'm like, these people are like, where's the energy I had at Full Sail? And so I only had a couple jobs before I started my company. And I just remember being like, there's a better way to do this, because like to do what we do, it has to be rooted in passion. And, it just doesn't work any other way. I think one of my favorite quotes is the Winston Churchill one, where he basically says success is, moving from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. You cannot do that if you do not have passion. Just can't. And so I found myself gravitating back, and I think realizing this later, but what was really happening was when I went to build Purple, I was really trying to build Full Sail. Right. So I wanted a place where people could come, be who they are, whatever that is, whatever they look like, how they want purple hair, green hair, whatever it is, you can be you, you're accepted for you. And it's about doing your best work. And there's nothing else matters. Like, doesn't matter. Like you got to make money. I get it. But we never were focused on revenue from day one. I never had a business plan. It was just about how could we do really cool shit and like move on to the next thing. And so I just remember that energy kept pulling like a gravitational pull. The right people continued to come. It was just like one after the next. And, when I started, I built out half of my 2-car garage into an office. So literally one side of a 2-car garage. And we crammed like 3 or 4 people in this little cubicle thing I'd made. And that's how we started. We worked out of my garage for like 2 years. And we started realizing we were working with major brands all over the country out of my tiny garage. So I just never, in my mind, it was never about building a business plan. And I think there's nothing wrong with business plans. There's nothing wrong with planning. Don't get me wrong. But there's also something about trusting your gut, trusting your passion, and just going heads down. I mean, to this day, we don't look at other agencies. We don't go, oh, we got to be more like this agency, or we got to do this. Our values at Purple are commit, explore, and do great work. And there's no more than that. We have 3 values. And, the point is, if you're willing to commit to our team and our client and explore that willingness to like try things that don't exist, be the risk-taking, component that was spoken about earlier, and just ultimately at the end, do great work. And that has sort of been what has built Purple over the years. And, we're one of the largest agencies in the country that is not owned by a major conglomerate. So, at this point is solely owned by me. I am looking to bring a partner. One of the people who have been with me for a long time is going to be coming in as a partner, but I built it from the ground up, and it's just all built on the passion that I derived from Full Sail and recreated that in the real world. And so, but that journey today looks like me pouring into people, me like just being able to discover those gifts and talents that everybody has. And like, you end up hopefully finding it, or you find a mentor that can cultivate that out of you. And that's what I try to be to, our team and our leadership team and our staff, is really digging that out of them and just setting them up to do their best work of their life.
It's incredible, Bobby, as you're mentioning those attributes within the organization, and I'm looking around the horn here, and I'm seeing everybody in agreement with you, because they're all effectively walking similar footsteps in their own career paths. It's reminding me that, I recently heard someone talk about there are no winners and losers in life. You have to choose to be both a leader and a learner, and it sounds like you are affording that in your organization. Everyone has the ability to lead in a project or learn as they go through that project. And what a beautiful environment to be working in. And I think all of you represent that across the board. Let me shift to maybe a moment in your journey. Can we look at just, was there a milestone moment, or maybe even something that happened to you that was a hurdle that you feel like that was pivotal for me? Along my way, this thing happened, and that was a pivotal thing for me. And Bobby, I'll start with you. We just finished with you, but can I start with you there? Is there a milestone or a hurdle you can tell us about?
Yeah, I think I kind of alluded to it in the earlier statement. I'll elaborate a little more, but those 1, 2/3 jobs that I had where there was just no passion, and it just felt very much like, people were like phoning it in, and I'm like, I can't be part of this. And I think the ultimate like catalyst for me going and building Purple was, I had a job working for a major publication, and the person I reported to was the exact opposite. Just did not care about people. And, he would literally say time and time again, there's no one's going to retire from this company. Like, everyone's replaceable, just this really terrible, like, literally I heard these words, and I actually got physically sick from hearing him make some of these comments, because I grew up watching, I come in the era I grew up in, I watched my dad work extremely hard for one company for 25 plus years, down to even getting the watch, right? Like the 25-year watch. And, you think as a new starter at a company, you're like, that's what I got. I'm going to go follow in the footsteps, right? Like, I'm going to go build a career, and I'm going to put my time in. And now, granted, the world obviously doesn't work 100% like that at all at this point anymore, which is fine. My mentality at the time was I was committed to this company, and that's why it's one of our core values, commit, because I was committed. And like when I heard that moment, I felt lost. I felt like, oh man, I'm not going to have, like, I can't count on this company. I'm going to have to do something different. And so again, I was like, I'm going to go do my own thing, and I'm going to tell some friends to come join me, and we're just going to do really good stuff, and like, let that kind of cultivate this idea that you can be in a work environment that continues to build on your talents and gifts and your passions. And I just want to make that clear to anyone going out there. You're never forced to stay or work anywhere that doesn't feel good or feel right? Like, that is so important. Even if you think it makes your parents proud, or your girlfriend or boyfriend proud because you got this job, and if it's not going to feed who you are and make you and lead you on the career path you should be on, like, that's my big chunk of advice out of this. But that was my catalyst moment, was like, okay, I want to pour my heart and soul into this. I can't trust at this point a company to give me that, so I'm going to go build it. And so that's sort of my moment.
Outstanding. And what a great initiative to be able to say, I'm going to just jump in and go. just wonderful, brother.
And I had one other thing. When I started my agency, I had many other agencies around town or whatever. I would be part of a consortium, and like they'd come sort of pat me on the back and be like, hey, just get used to, hey, people come and go. Like, you're not going to keep anyone more than 18 months in an agency environment. And again, I'm like, no, I'm not building that company. And I'm very proud to say I have people that have been with me, actually Full Sail graduate, Michael Parler has been with me going on 16 years.
Wow.
And I have people that have been with me over a decade. I have some that are 12 years. So again, building a company that people feel safe in and can create and be who they are, I think it's just so important in times like this. There's plenty of work to be done. Like, you may as well be happy where you are doing it. So there's no shortage.
Kudos to you for building that. There are organizations out there. Full Sail is another one. We have plenty of grads who work for Full Sail, and we also have some amazing individuals that have been here over 20 years and beyond. So
unreal.
They're out there. You just have to find the right one, or as Bobby did, you have to build it yourself. Stephanie, how about yourself? Is there a moment, a milestone, or a hurdle that you can share with us?
I think similar to Bobby, several milestones. 9/11, at 9/11, I was a flying consultant. I literally would fly to a location and fly back. There was 2 years in a row where I flew 50 weeks a year. And then 9/11 happened, and we were grounded, and that really caused me to say, you know what, I could do this job and I could make a lot of money and I can be like the people around me, or I could go for what I really wanted. And when I left to go to Full Sail, my coworkers who were making, like, some of them making six figures, are like, oh, I wish I could do that. So that was an interesting thing. And then after Full Sail, I moved to New York. I did some gigs, and then I couldn't find work. So I ended up working for a hotel. Like, I needed to pay rent. I needed to do some things. And again, like Bobby said, I'm working this job. I know I'm just working this job, but just seeing the kind of the zombie-like nature that people would go to work, they do their job, they felt like, well, I just have to be doing this. This is what this is life. And that reinforced for me that this is not life for me. So I actually worked this job full time, and then I was an unpaid intern for a producer for a while, and then I took the leap. I jumped into a position that was paying less than the hotel, but at least I was doing what I wanted to be doing. So I think that's also a tribute to the kinds of folks who are going to pursue this kind of career. We're not just satisfied with making a paycheck. We're not just satisfied with doing the same job every day. We need to create, we need to be out there, we need to be active and doing the things that feed our souls and hopefully nurture other people's souls. So yeah, that kind of being in a regular job and seeing that that's not who I am, that's not where I want to be, and just allowing myself to take that leap and having no plan B, like kind of like you said. So that was a big pivotal moment for me.
That's excellent. And it's wonderful to know that when you're faced with any kind of challenge, how you handle it, the path you choose has everything to do with where you're going to land in this career, and having good vision, like both of you have described, is very important. I think because of our time, I'm going to pause on that question. We will ask that question again on campus while you're here with us in March. So be prepared, gang. We'll come back to that so we get everybody's answer. But I'd like to get a little bit of advice for our audience before we have to leave right at 5 o'clock. And I'd like to kind of pose it this way. Each of you have been through the program. You know what it's like to maneuver through the program. While that was 10 years ago, or maybe more in some cases, is there a little bit of advice that you could offer yourself? If you could look back at yourself in the program, is there a little bit of advice you could share that may benefit our students who may be watching today? And I'll maybe begin that one with Tom. Maybe you could start us off.
Sure. After I spent all that mental energy thinking of my great response,
My
switch on
apologies.
me. That's fine. That's fine. Advice to graduate or almost graduate Tom would be the same advice I'd give to anyone who is in the Full Sail program right now. There's so many things we could talk about, but there's one thing that has come to me often when I hear other people talking about it that are in our industries, which is that you should never work for free. And not to say something very controversial, but I want everyone listening to maybe think of what the word free means to them. Because I hear a lot of people say, don't do that project. You're a student or you just recently graduated, you should get paid for that. I couldn't agree more. Here's the thing though, I did a number of projects for free. And I never felt like I was being taken advantage of because it was my decision to do that, but they weren't free. You'd think they were free because I wasn't being paid. If you don't have clients right now, if you don't have a clientele, if you're not being paid, you should be working on projects anyway. From here until the end of your life, there is no downtime. You're always involved in your craft all the time. And you can do your craft alone if you don't have clients, or you can join a team that doesn't have the money to pay anybody, which you might fit into that realm at the moment. Now, are you working for free? Not the way I look at it. If I'm networking, if I'm getting better at my craft, if I'm building stuff to show off to my next client who I will demand money from, then it's not really free, is it? In the same way that my internship that I did in a recording studio for 3 months was unpaid. And everyone in my family, of course, at the time was like, that's ridiculous. You're sleeping on your friend's couch and you're working for free. And I was like, no, I'm learning for free. You're using the term free very much incorrectly. One of my clients, real quickly, that I still work with to a certain degree, I found him online. I went to a webpage and he was working on an indie game and I needed more game experience. And I talked to him. I said, I love your game. Don't love the sound. No offense if you did it, but I would like to collaborate with you. I'd like to work with you. And at the time, I didn't think that he was getting something for free out of me. I thought it was the other way around. And it started that way. And then the next project he called me for was not for free. And then the project after that was for more. And the last project I did with him, let's just say it went really, 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 really well. So if anyone were to say, I'm not going to do that because it's free work, maybe consider carefully. Don't jump into something if you're not ready for it. But do you have clientele? If not, are you going to gain clientele? Because showing people that have their own potential what you're capable of and networking with them will inevitably become something that is very far removed from the word free that other people use. So that's the one bit of advice I would give is trust yourself, trust the position you're in. And also it leans into, not to go on too much, entry-level jobs. I've seen people who are very concerned when they get out of school to go to that for a job. Just remember something, our industries need all of you. We have entry-level starting positions that every one of us on this screen right now started in. That's how we got started. That's how everyone in our fields got started. If you're in that position, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not there by accident. Be confident. You put yourself into school, you graduated, you went to the interview, you're getting into the spot. There's nothing accidental about it. So rethink free and be confident in where you are. You're not where you are by accident. You're where you're supposed to be right now. And we need all of you to be in that place.
Spot on, Tom. That was wonderful. That was something that everyone should take note of, especially starting out in your career. That's amazing. Nadi, how about you, my friend, moving into the gaming world? How does the advice thing move for you if you look back on yourself at graduation?
So probably to echo a lot of what Tom said, honestly, is, constantly be learning. I would actually also encourage everyone at Full Sail thinking about or attending currently to break out of the degree that you're in, like try and network outside of that. So I will say that the last 3 jobs I got were through Full Sail alumni and also through the professors at Full Sail because they thought that I was such a great student and that I showed my best foot forward and they knew that I would be able to be, flexible and adapt and do all of those things. And they were confident to pass my name forward as well, right? So it's through that I would definitely recommend that you try to take advantage of that. I wish I would have done that. Instead of doing my capstone project, I actually went into an internship. So I kind of maybe a little bit of a smidge regret not doing the capstone project, right? Because then I would have expanded my network tenfold, right? Like I know designers, artists, engineers. instead of just, knowing the artists and engineers that were already established at the internship, right? So, but doing that and being able to kind of break out of your shells, if it's possible and doable, and if everybody's got the spoons to do that, I highly would encourage that for sure, because you just never know who in the network is going to be able to help you learn, help you grow, and find that next thing. And then also to don't fit into other people's mold, make other people fit your mold, right? That was a definite difficult thing for me to learn. Once I stopped caring or trying to fit myself into other people's molds, I definitely saw more success for myself.
That's powerful. That's very powerful advice. And again, each one of you reflect that. You are true individuals, each and every one of you in your own success, you're true individuals. Phil, eager to hear how you would address yourself at graduation. If you could look back and give yourself some advice.
Sure. The short advice would probably be chill out, relax. No, I mean, maybe, but I think two things come to mind, Jay. The first one would be self-awareness, the importance of being aware of two things. When I teach branding literally around the world, I teach a formula that's really effective positioning of a brand or a business, an idea, a career is based on two things: something you absolutely love to do, paired with something others need and are ideally willing to spend money on it. And so something you love paired with something others need. I think Full Sail, the way it's designed, for me, having such a focus on each aspect of business, one of those months being branding. I mean, I'm not even sure that I knew what branding really was before I focused on it and felt like, wow, this is really something I love. I feel like I would do these projects for fun. And now I still do those projects for fun and get paid for it. I mean, really, it was Full Sail that taught me focus. This is a message. This is what you're good at. Now go and do something with it. So that would be part one, is self-awareness of what you love and also where there's need. It'll be so beautiful when we're all on campus together, because we can have honest conversations about the type of things that we all hire for, and listen to the things that you're excited about and see where those things align, maybe not with us, but someone we know, or a job posting we saw last week, etc. So I'd say self-awareness. Full Sail is the most amazing environment to realize that, to become aware of self. The second thing, quite frankly, is relationships. I think it's the most important thing that exists on campus or virtually in our family, in our world. This is a long story that I'm not going to tell. I'm going to tell the 30-second version of it, but I got an internship with Ryan Seacrest when I graduated Full Sail, and I was fired from it. Google it, it's out there. And it was Full Sail that, a connection at Full Sail that got me the internship. And it was a connection in career development. Shout out to Jess Pollock, who is still one of my BFFs, who came and helped me, literally said, Phil, you know what? We're going to find a solution. We're going to keep you busy out in LA, even though you don't have any friends. You've never been there. You have no idea what you're doing. I'm going to help you. And she used a personal friendship to set me up with my first unpaid. Everything Tom said is like so brilliant, first unpaid opportunity that led to lunches and conversations, and eventually my first handful of clients that were all personal brands. And that's what I continue to do. So I'd say self-awareness, relationships, both are so at our fingertips at Full Sail still to this day. Don't think just because obviously we're, being inducted and we're all so excited about that, we're still working, we're still building our careers, we're still excited and also nervous about what we don't know, all of those things. And so I think this is the most amazing. There's no better environment that proves the importance of relationships at any point of your career.
Excellent, my friend. That was just dynamic. And thank you. That's for each of you, spot on advice. I apologize to Stephanie and Bobby because of time. I'm going to pause there, but it made me realize as each of you were talking, it's like there's just so much value in what each of you are bringing to the table. We don't even have Justin with us because that's a whole nother layer that I'm eager to add in. So I'm going to use that as my teaser and tell everybody that if you'd like to see a more in-depth version of this panel, Hall of Fame week is where you're going to get it. We'll be online and we'll be in classroom, probably one of the larger rooms to hold as many people as we can fit in there. And we'll take your individual questions in person and online for this very panel during Hall of Fame week. That aside, I just want to say I'm very happy that we got a chance to get to know each and every one of you a little more intimately, you know, better than just a press release with some of your information. We get to hear from the actual individual in a setting like this. I don't know if pre-COVID, this would have been as widely accepted as a medium. I know it was getting some traction, but you know, I can honestly say that even though we've had to put up with some difficult things over the last 18 months, it's nice to have this format to be able to share with each other, and that it will become now part of our overall experience for Hall of Fame week, because the things we do in person will be shared in a hybrid way as well. And we look forward to that. I'm eager to have each of you on campus with us. Your dynamic energy, your love, and your care for our student body and staff on display. And we will have a wonderful week from the 6th to the 11th of March in 2022. I will close out by once again saying congratulations to each of you for being inductees for the 12th annual Full Sail University Hall of Fame. I'm sorry we don't have any more time to play catch up. We're right up against the wall. So I will say I love you all. Thank you for being with us and giving today, and looking forward to our continued conversations moving towards Hall of Fame. I want everybody to have a wonderful, blessed, and happy day. Take care, everyone.